The truth about why Mace Windu never truly trusted Anakin Skywalker runs way deeper than simple dislike or quiet jealousy. This wasn't personal, it was strategic. When you break down the official canon, 5 serious reasons explain why the most senior voice on the Jedi Council treated the so-called Chosen One like a live grenade instead of a trusted partner. For 15 years, Windu didn't relax around him, not once. What he saw during that first meeting on Coruscant stuck with him like a warning siren. From day one, something felt off, and sadly, his fears would explode in the worst way imaginable. The first red flag, Anakin walked into the Jedi Temple carrying every trait the Order had spent centuries labeling as dangerous. The signs were right there in Star Wars. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. When Qui-Gon Jinn presented the boy to the Jedi Council, Windu's reaction wasn't excitement, it was caution. The kid was way older than the usual younglings. By Jedi standards, he was practically grown. Most initiates were brought in as infants, minds still fresh, shaped from the start to follow discipline without emotional baggage. But Anakin? He came with history. He came with attachment. He had already built deep bonds with his mother, Shmi Skywalker, and with the people who helped free him from slavery on Tatooine. Those weren't small details, those were major alarms. The Jedi Code had warned for generations that strong attachment could twist into fear, and fear could spiral into something far worse. Windu didn't see innocence. He saw risk, and in his world, risk had consequences. For years before that moment, the senior council member had watched the Order survive crisis after crisis. So when Qui-Gon Jinn asked to train the boy, Mace Windu shut it down fast. His refusal wasn't cold-hearted, it was built on centuries of Jedi survival logic. From his view, Anakin was simply too old to surrender fully to the Force without being pulled back by emotional ties. And the council had receipts. They had seen what happened when students with strong attachments were forced into painful choices. It never ended clean. This wasn't about one kid. This was system-level caution. The Jedi Order banned personal relationships for a reason. Those rules were written after thousands of years of hard losses and bitter mistakes. As Yoda warns in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, attachment clouds judgment. It opens cracks where fear slips in. Fear turns into anger, anger turns into suffering, and suffering, that's the doorway to the dark side. Anakin walked into the temple already carrying those emotional chains. To Windu, that meant one thing, high risk. And if you're high risk inside the Jedi Order, you get watched closely. Then came the prophecy, and that didn't calm anyone down. Qui-Gon kept insisting the boy was the chosen one, destined to bring balance to the Force. That ancient prophecy had shaped Jedi belief for generations, but its meaning was never crystal clear. Scholars debated it, masters questioned it. Nobody had a full translation stamped and approved. Windu never accepted that claim on blind faith. Neither did Yoda. They warned the council that prophecy can be misunderstood. Maybe the boy would bring balance. Or maybe believing that too easily would blind them to something much darker forming right in front of them. Even after the council finally allowed Anakin's training following the death of Qui-Gon Jinn on Naboo Mace, Windu never dropped his guard. The decision may have passed, but his doubts stayed locked in place. As the former slave from Tatooine climbed the Jedi ranks, that tension never faded. It just got heavier. The second reason was impossible to ignore. Anakin was unpredictable. Whenever the pressure spiked, his emotions rushed ahead of his judgment. And inside the Jedi Order, trust was never built on flashy power or lightsaber skills. It was built on control, on calm thinking when chaos hits, on choosing wisdom over impulse, on putting the mission above personal desire every single time. No one questioned Anakin's strength, not even Windu. The young Jedi's power was undeniable, raw, rare, and dangerous in the wrong moment. But strength without control, that's where alarms start ringing. What Windu kept asking himself was simple. When it truly counts, will he master the power, or will the power master him? The answer kept looking shaky. Obi-Wan Kenobi saw it up close more than anyone. For over a decade, he trained Anakin, fought beside him, and covered for him in battle after battle. He constantly had to step in, pulling his former Padawan back when he pushed too hard or rushed in too fast. crisis after crisis, Obi-Wan never fully knew which version of Anakin would show up when the heat turned up. And that pattern? It didn't start late. It showed up early, loud, and clear. During the Battle of Geonosis in Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, everything cracked wide open. Obi-Wan Kenobi was captured by separatist forces and dragged into that arena, staring straight at execution. The council, led in the field by Mace Windu, ordered Anakin Skywalker to stay put. His assignment was clear: protect Padme Amidala and do not move. Obi-Wan even warned him directly. Disobeying would mean expulsion from the Jedi Order. That was not a light threat. But Anakin's answer came fast and hot. He made it clear he did not care about the consequences if it meant saving his master. That moment wasn't small. It was a flashing warning sign. When emotions exploded, discipline vanished. Windu had feared this from day one. In high-stakes situations, Anakin chose personal loyalty over institutional duty. To him, people came first. To the Jedi Order, the mission came first. That gap was dangerous. The Clone Wars only magnified the problem. Year after year, senior Jedi watched Anakin make emotion-first decisions that others had to step in and correct. He was brave, yes, powerful, absolutely, but steady? Not always. Even thoughts of Padme triggered visible surges in him. It was like someone hit a switch he couldn't fully manage, and he didn't always hide it well through the Force. For masters trained to sense disturbance, those reactions stood out. Weak points don't stay hidden in a room full of Force-sensitive leaders. Over time, Anakin earned a reputation as an unpredictable element. Careful plans would be laid out by Obi-Wan, by Windu, by the Council, calm, strategic, precise. Then the Chosen One would charge in with instinct, leading the way, shifting the balance in seconds. Later, Obi-Wan would reflect on the risk that kind of emotional intensity carried. Caring deeply can inspire heroism, but in war, a single blink of emotion can change everything. One rushed choice can flip victory into disaster. And when the fate of entire systems hangs in the balance, impulse is not just risky, it's explosive. And in the eyes of Mace Windu, a Jedi who made choices based on feelings instead of discipline was a liability he could not ignore. That brings us to the third major red flag. Anakin formed a close bond with someone outside the Order, someone with massive political power, and that changed everything. From the moment Anakin arrived on Coruscant as a young boy, Chancellor Palpatine took a personal interest in him. This was not casual mentorship. This was deliberate attention. Their connection grew through quiet conversations stretched across years, private meetings far from the council chambers, far from Jedi supervision. At the time, no one pressed too hard. Maybe they didn't see the risk. Maybe they underestimated it. Later, Anakin would even question whether the other masters truly understood how often he spoke with the Chancellor behind closed doors. Since arriving in the capital, he chose to keep that relationship low-key. He figured it was smarter that way. He already had whispers following him around the temple, the Chosen One, the prophecy, the expectations. Adding close to the Supreme Chancellor to that label, that would only stir more tension among his peers. But this was never casual for Palpatine. Not for a second. While Anakin saw guidance and support, manipulation was quietly unfolding. The Chancellor knew exactly how to play it. Whenever the Council denied Anakin a mission or held him back from greater responsibility, Palpatine stepped in with validation. When the young knight felt overlooked, the Chancellor praised his instincts. When he wanted to join high-profile operations and was refused, Palpatine voiced strong support for him. That kind of outside approval hits different. Anakin found comfort in knowing someone powerful believed in him. What he didn't see was the wedge forming subtle at first, then sharper with every private talk. Each conversation pulled him a little further from the Jedi hierarchy and a little closer to someone with his own hidden agenda. And Windu? He saw that shift coming, and it did not sit right with him at all. Mace Windu watched that relationship unfold all through the Clone Wars, and his concern kept rising. Battle after battle, he saw Chancellor Palpatine tighten his grip on the Republic. Emergency powers stacked up. His term stretched far beyond the limits set by the Constitution. On paper, it looked legal. In reality, it felt wrong. Windu never knew Palpatine's true identity as the Sith Lord hiding in plain sight, but he sensed something was off. A disturbance he couldn't fully explain, just a deep, steady warning in the Force. The Chancellor's influence kept expanding across the Senate, the courts, the military, and somehow Anakin was always close by. The breaking point hit after the Battle of Coruscant in Star Wars, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Palpatine pushed through Anakin's appointment to the Jedi High Council as his personal representative. That move skipped the usual path of promotion completely. It wasn't earned through tradition. It was forced through politics. Windu reacted fast. He told the council this setup was dangerous. Pairing Anakin Skywalker directly with Palpatine created a risk the Order could barely contain. The council tried to balance the situation by granting Anakin a seat, but refusing him the rank of Master. That decision landed like a public slap. Anakin's frustration was written all over his face in the chamber. He felt disrespected, humiliated, and everyone saw it. For Windu, that reaction proved the point. Here was a Jedi already known for strong attachments, now being pulled deeper into the orbit of a politician he didn't trust. Windu didn't sugarcoat it with his colleagues. He said it plainly. He did not believe Anakin could manage this assignment, and he did not trust his judgment in matters involving the Chancellor. In a time of war and political chaos, that combination felt explosive. Mace Windu had observed Anakin Skywalker for years, and nothing he saw eased his mind. Every mission, every argument, every emotional reaction stacked onto the same concern. The political situation was already unstable. Adding divided loyalty into that mix, that was dangerous. Anakin openly counted Chancellor Palpatine among the most important figures in his life, right beside Obi-Wan Kenobi and Padme Amidala. That confession alone was enough to set off alarms. To Windu, that meant split allegiance. If a Jedi's heart is pulled between the Order, a secret marriage, and the Chancellor's office, what happens when those worlds collide? When the pressure peaks, you don't get time to debate loyalty, you act. And Windu questioned which side Anakin would choose when everything was on the line. Then there was the rules issue. Anakin's constant friction with authority put him in direct clash with Windu's philosophy of strict discipline. During the Clone Wars, the Jedi Order shifted from peacekeepers into military generals. That transformation shook the foundation of everything they stood for. Windu remained on Coruscant much of the war, overseeing strategy and trying to hold the institution together as it bent under crushing pressure. To him, survival meant structure. Discipline was not optional, it was life support for the Order. He didn't hesitate to correct Jedi who stepped out of line. When young Padawans like Ahsoka Tano bent the rules, they were reassigned to less exciting duties to reinforce obedience. The message was clear: control first, creativity later. Even Obi-Wan advised Anakin that life as a Jedi Knight became easier when you followed the rules. Improvising might look heroic, but most times it invited chaos. And in a war that could decide the fate of the galaxy, chaos was the last thing Windu was willing to gamble on. Anakin saw it his own way, and that was the problem. In his mind, the Jedi rules were often the only thing blocking him from doing what he believed was right. During one Clone Wars mission, that tension with Mace Windu exploded into the open. Windu contacted him through hologram, demanding his exact location. Anakin didn't answer straight. Instead, he faked technical trouble. He subtly distorted the signal, adding artificial static and acting like the transmission was breaking up. It was smooth, it was calculated, and it was straight-up deception. Windu had faced warlords, assassins, and battlefield chaos without losing composure. Yet this quiet manipulation from one of his own Jedi hit differently. It wasn't open rebellion, it was subtle defiance, and that cut deeper. Then there was the issue of independence. When Anakin trusted his astromech, R2-D2, to act on instinct during missions, Windu criticized him sharply. To Windu, encouraging individuality in a droid blurred dangerous lines. Discipline meant structure, even for machines. But Anakin uplifted independence in everyone around him. He built loyalty through trust, not control. That mindset clashed hard with the strict framework Windu believed was necessary for the Order to survive the war. The more oversight Anakin felt, the more boxed in he became. He didn't want constant supervision. He wanted space to breathe. He wanted to operate without being judged by masters who, in his eyes, didn't truly understand him. And the tighter the council tried to hold him, the harder he pulled away. He hid his marriage to Padme Amidala because he knew the consequences would be severe if it came to light. That secrecy created exactly the vulnerability the Jedi Code was designed to prevent: a hidden attachment, a hidden fear, a hidden pressure building in silence. When trust was finally extended to him near the end, it came too late. 15 years of distance, doubt, and tension had already built a wall too high to climb, and by then, the damage was already unfolding. When Anakin Skywalker uncovered the truth that Chancellor Palpatine was secretly the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, he didn't hesitate. He went straight to Mace Windu with the bombshell. This was the intel the Jedi had hunted for over a decade, the hidden enemy of the Republic, exposed at last, sitting at the very top of its government. Windu listened carefully, and then he said it: if the information proved true, Anakin would finally earn his trust. Finally, after 15 years of suspicion, distance, and tight supervision, acceptance was offered, but only conditionally. It wasn't warm, it wasn't personal, it was calculated. Even in that moment, Windu treated Anakin more like a strategic asset than a brother-in-arms, and when it came time to act, the divide stayed in place. Windu ordered him to remain in the council chambers while he and the other masters moved to arrest Palpatine. Sit and wait. That was the command. Think about that. The prophesied Chosen One, one of the most powerful Jedi alive, was told to stay behind, while others confronted the most dangerous threat the Order had faced in 1,000 years. After keeping Anakin at arm's length for over a decade, Windu made the call to exclude him at the single most critical moment. Then came the showdown in Palpatine's office, as seen in Star Wars. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Windu stood over the defeated Sith Lord, lightsaber raised, ready to end it. Every concern he ever had about Anakin now hung in the air like tension before a storm. And that's when Anakin arrived, torn in half. On one side, his duty to the Jedi Order. On the other, his desperate fear of losing Padme Amidala. Palpatine had promised knowledge to save her, secrets the Sith claimed only they possessed. In that split second, 15 years of mistrust collided with fear, attachment, and manipulation. The distance Windu had maintained for so long suddenly became the final crack. And in that moment, everything fell apart. The young Jedi's deep attachments and his overwhelming fear for his wife's life drove the final decision. In one crushing moment, Anakin Skywalker turned on Mace Windu and sided with Darth Sidious, sealing his fall and completing his transformation into Darth Vader. Every warning sign Windu had pointed out lined up in that instant. The doubts about the prophecy, the emotional attachments, Palpatine's steady manipulation, and the struggle to stay disciplined under extreme pressure. Later, during his exile on Tatooine, Obi-Wan Kenobi reflected on it all. He questioned whether strict loyalty to the Jedi Code had pushed Anakin further into rebellion. That regret lingered like a shadow. But Windu's concern had never been about strength. Anakin had power in massive supply. The real issue was predictability. Power without control is unstable, and an unstable force inside the Order was a risk it could not survive. The real question was never, was Anakin strong enough? It was, who would he choose to be when forced to decide between duty and attachment? When that choice came, Windu's fears proved accurate. But being right did not stop the collapse. The emotional distance he maintained left no bridge when it mattered most. And while the Jedi focused on Anakin, the bigger game was already in motion. Palpatine had been orchestrating the Republic's fall for decades, slowly reshaping it into the Empire right under their watch. If you want the full breakdown of how that long con unfolded over 70 years, and what daily life looked like at the very center of Imperial power, check out the next deep dives. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you in the next one.